I mean, I bought a ticket immediately after I got on one of those dating sites because I couldn't believe how many women were winking at me. It was just unbelievable, you know, and it took me like hours to go through all of these women just to look at them and see what their story was.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm not gonna lie, there's a crazy amount of hype about coming to the Philippines to meet a Filipina. It's this magical place, but is that hype actually real? I guess it depends on who you talk to. I recently sat down with a guy named Barry from California, 74 years old, has never really traveled before. He thought he was gonna be single for the rest of his life, had no luck dating in the US. So he came to the Philippines, 30 days to test the waters, to see what it's actually like here, and he shares all of his honest thoughts about it and whether or not the Philippines is a place that he is going to come back to fulfill his goal. Check out this interview.
I knew I was going to come out here, and the only way for me to tell myself I was coming out here was to buy the ticket. And so I just plunked down, I think it cost me like $871 for round trip, which is a pretty good price on China Airlines. And I just had the ticket for all these months, and then finally January came, January 23rd, and I left.
And you've been here for 1 month. What would you say is your first impression of what dating and relationships could be like? Because you're single, you don't have a girlfriend, but you've been here a while.
Well, I think that providing you have a good personality and you're genuinely friendly and sincere, you can meet just about anybody you want. The first thing you do is say hello. Just say hello. That's all you have to do to start a conversation. Because I know a lot of guys have a hard time meeting women in the States, and I know I have. But out here, I mean, a smile and then a hello is all you really need to do to get a conversation started with someone that you might like.
And have you had these experiences then in the last month?
Oh yeah, I've been flirting with women like never before. I mean, every time I see a cute girl that I like, all of a sudden something comes out of my mouth that I never thought would come out of my mouth. It's like, you know, it's so different with the women here than it is with the women in the States. You know, it's almost like you got just tremendous pressure on you to do something completely out of the ordinary with a woman in the US to get their attention. But here, all you have to do is be yourself. It's just so easy to talk to someone out here.
So for a guy that's in his 70s, you feel like you're not judged for being too old or anything like that?
Well, no.
Obviously, that's not an issue here, right?
Well, no, it's not an issue, and everybody tells me that. And I understand it's hard for Americans to wrap their head around that concept. And I still have people in my family telling me, what's a 21-year-old going to do with you, your age? You know, and it's just, they have to be here. I try to tell them, I said, I can't explain it to you. You have to get here and see it for yourself for you to understand. I can't explain it to you. It's something that it can't be explained over the phone or over a video chat. You have to be here. And I knew that was the case, and that's why I was so happy to come here.
So how have these Filipinas that you have flirted with or chatted with, how have the interactions been? How have they reacted? How is it different than the US? Like, what are these interactions like?
Well, you can tell that they respect you more than a woman in the West would. Whereas out here, I think the women automatically put you on a pedestal. And I think part of it is because you're a West foreigner, you know, and from the West. And I think that has something to do with it. But you know what? You shouldn't take advantage of that and like try to be like domineering or dominating. You should be sincere about how you feel and how you feel about the person you're talking to. I think that's the most important thing to watch out for. You know, that you're not putting on any airs, that you're being yourself, and you know, you're not acting, you're just being yourself and being true to yourself. And I think that's the best way to meet someone.
So for those that are considering online versus in person, doing it before they come or just showing up, do you have an opinion on that? What's going to be best for you?
Well, yeah, I think you know, they hit the nail on the head when they say, if you want to go online a month before you come out. Okay, I did it 8 months before I came out because I knew I couldn't afford to come out until January, and that was in May. And I was chatting with all these women, and then what ended up happening was that the long distance relationship didn't work out. And that's what will happen because it's too long to be talking to someone without consummating the meeting. And so I think if you meet someone a month before, get on, if you want to do the online, go online a month before, sign up, and then you can line up a couple of dates where you want to go, and then start from there. But I'm a one woman type of guy. I can't juggle women, so I don't feel comfortable like having 3 different dates in 1 week, because what if all 3 of them like me and they want to see me again? Then it's going to be a problem. And so I've had that happen, and I met 2 already, and I could tell both are interested and both would like to see me again. But because I'm leaving, I won't be able to see them. But I could tell that if I was staying here longer, that I would have a problem with just 2. Because I'd have to see both of them and then juggle the 2.
Do you think there's an age range that would allow you to meet someone that's going to be genuine, or someone that's going to meet your needs or criteria for a girlfriend?
Yeah, I think there's a certain level of maturity that I need, even though I don't feel like I'm very mature myself. But I need someone, because I can tell the difference between a 20-year-old and a 35-year-old is like night and day. And so I would tend to go with someone between 32 and 37. I think that is a sweet spot. They're still energetic, they're still very young, but they're somewhat mature, and they've decided whether or not they want kids, and how their life is going to go in the future. Whereas a 20-year-old, they're just so apt to change their thinking from day to day, and so it's going to be more problematic, especially if you're older like me.
Okay, so dating, you'd give dating a 2 thumbs up as far as the reality versus
yes,
what you saw?
I think the reality, as far as the difficulty, I'd say that there's absolutely no difficulty. There's someone out here for you. No matter who you are, there's someone out here for you.
So a lot of things come up with people meeting girls that just are motivated by money, and this comes up quite a bit. And I've made videos about it. So do you feel that, have you experienced anything like that? Or do you feel like you have a sense of red flags and things like that? Or is it going to be a really tricky thing for guys to navigate when it comes to genuine versus just wanting money?
Well, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you've been around a little bit, I mean, it's common sense, I mean, the first thing they tell you is don't send money to someone. But even before I started going on the internet to meet women in the Philippines, I wouldn't send money to anybody that tried to scam me, on the internet or on my phone.
Right.
I mean, it's common sense that I don't send money to someone I don't know. It's as simple as that. So there's no girl that can talk me into sending her money on the internet. And a few did in the beginning. I was on Filipina Cupid initially, which is a pretty good site, generally speaking. And the first 3 or 4 girls that I talked to, they started giving me a hard story about their phone, or about one wanted me to buy her a house before she met me, and so I was polite though. I wasn't, I didn't get bent out of shape about it, because I knew what to expect.
Sure.
I expected that to happen, and I was just matter of fact about it. And I said, sorry, I really can't afford to do that, or I don't send money to someone I don't know. And then they apologized quickly after that to try to salvage the relationship, but it's too late once they do that.
The term scammer, I think, gets thrown around too loosely, and the guy has to take some responsibility if he's throwing the money out there.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And a lot of guys know what they're doing, and they want to. It's almost like they use their money as a way of making the girl more dependent on them.
Well, of course, yeah.
Right?
Like they say, leading with your wallet. You don't want to do that.
Right.
And I'm guilty of it. I admit. I told a few people, showed a few people my house. In fact, I showed the LDR because we were very open with each other, and I sent her all kinds of photos of my life, and I showed her my new car I just bought. I showed her my house and stuff like that. And she didn't make a big deal about it or anything, but that's the wrong thing to do. I think.
Not the way to do it.
No, I think you don't want to bring any financial information into the mix. You want to make it a heart-to-heart connection, because that's what they have to bring to the table, is their heart and their love. Okay, if they're sincerely searching for a special relationship, it can't be about the money. And so that has to come in later, because if it comes in the beginning, then you don't know whether it's going to be the money or a combination of love and money. How much of it is money and how much of it is love, and that's going to be hard to determine.
For sure.
So you can't tell them anything about your finances till you meet them, and like Rike says, you vet them for at least 3 months, 6 months. And date them over a period of time.
Absolutely.
Meet their family, because you're in it for the long haul. I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. This is the last chance I have. There's no way I'm gonna, if I do decide to find someone to marry, that's it. It's gonna be this time, and that's it. Because at my age, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do it again. I don't think.
All right, so you came to the Philippines to test it out, to check it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't know what was going to come of it. So 30 days you've been here almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your feeling going back home? You're going home soon, right?
Yes, I'm going home in 12 days.
So how much has this trip changed your thinking as far as your future? And what is your plan?
I kind of already know how I'm going to feel. I feel like I'm going to miss the Philippines. The question is, how much am I going to miss it, and is it going to push me to make sure that I come back soon? And that's what I have to wait and see. Once I get back there, I'll know better.
Okay, so when you say soon, do you think for sure you're coming, it's just a matter of time? Or are you going to go back and decide if you want to retire here versus staying where you were?
The physical things that you have, I have to admit I'm attached to them, and I don't like that. And I see the other guys who have that, how they've been able to just leave everything, sell everything, and just move out here. And that's what I'm grappling with now, that whole scenario. I suppose if I could snap my fingers and everything was sold and the money was in the bank, then I could probably do it. It's probably more a matter of getting through doing it. Okay, getting rid of everything. So I have to make the decision one way or the other, and then follow through. Either way, either I'm going to stay and be single the rest of my life, or I'm going to come out here and enjoy the rest of my life and possibly meet someone who I can live with for the rest of my life.
It's not that you don't want to come back. It's you have so much history there and so many things, material things, which people attach themselves to, right?
That's the hardest thing.
Sentimental and logistics of selling your house and your items. And,
the logistics and the material aspect of having things. And I did it to myself, I have to admit. I made my life more complicated by creating all these bills, buying all these things. And had I known before I bought the car that, had I been exposed to the Philippines, I probably wouldn't have bought the car.
Well, let me ask you this. Since you've been here for a month, do you miss any of it?
Not really. I don't miss the States at all. I mean, I'm just so occupied with what's going on here that I just don't even think about it. I know I'm going back, to a routine, but I could duplicate the routine that I need to have here. It's not hard to do, as far as what I eat, physical fitness, because that's the most important thing anyway. All the other stuff is extra. It's all things that you don't need, that don't really make you happy. They just complicate your life. You're making payments on everything, and it's just something to keep you busy. It keeps you busy is what it does. It keeps you occupied. I think I'd rather have a woman keep me occupied. I think that's more enjoyable, and it's better for you.
Let's end with this. If you were to talk to those that are watching YouTube videos like you were for quite a while and have never been here, what would you say to them as far as they're on the fence and they're maybe fearful to take the plunge?
I'm sure most people are not like me. Most people have taken a flight overseas somewhere. I mean, I think I'm the only one that hasn't. I think you just need to take a chance. I mean, make sure that your finances are set, and you know how much you need to come here. And it's not really that difficult. If you have common sense, you can do it very easily for a short time. I wouldn't go for any less than 28 days, though, because, the plane fare is at least $900. Sometimes people are paying $1,200, $1,500 for round trip tickets. So it really doesn't pay to come for 2 weeks only, and you can't see anything. You can't really meet anyone. I think the best thing is to stay at least a week in each place that you decide you want to go to. And now I know how to do it for the next time I come out here, because originally I wanted to hit Palawan, I wanted to go to Siquijor, I wanted to go to all these different places to see the beaches and some of the tourist spots, but I just didn't have enough time. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna have to make another trip back here. Simple as that.
So you definitely could have stayed longer, eh?
Now that you've been here. Yeah. The next time I'm gonna try to make it possible for me to stay here 6 months, because I think if I'm here 6 months, I'll definitely meet someone who I'll probably end up coming over here for.
Right.
I think that's enough time to meet someone.
Do you think coming out for a feeler trip is wise versus just selling? Everyone's personal, right? But sell everything and move versus what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm a little more safe. I try to be safe. I'm not as what's the word for it when you do something
spontaneous?
Spontaneous like that. No, I have to plan to some extent. So coming out for like a short time and knowing how much you're going to spend, and then see how you feel, because if you're going to go for it completely, it's ridiculous. You sell everything and you can't go back. What if you don't like it?
It's a real leap of faith at that point.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys have done that and it didn't work out because they didn't plan enough. They didn't have enough money coming in. You gotta have regular money coming in. That's the main thing. You gotta have regular money. You can't have a lump sum amount because it's eventually gonna run out.
Yeah.
So that's pretty obvious.
It's great advice, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love your all the information you shared. Just your point of view on things. That's what
Thanks a
that
lot.
would be great. Thanks, man.
All right.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Cool.